Okay. Alright, let's get started with this here. This is Jacob Melton live here of West Michigan Weather, and the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has issued a severe thunderstorm warning. This severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for west central portions of Kent County and east central portions of Ottawa County, and this severe thunderstorm warning goes until 5:15 p.m. this afternoon. At 4:50 p.m., a severe thunderstorm was located near Allendale, or 12 miles west of Grand Rapids, moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. The primary hazard with this severe thunderstorm is 60 mile per hour wind gusts, although we also have a tornado possible tag on this severe thunderstorm warning, and we have been monitoring some signs of rotation with this storm over the next several minutes. Some locations impacted by this potentially impacted by this severe thunderstorm include the Grand Rapids Metro, the Wyoming area, Walker, Coopersville, Allendale, the Wright area, Lamont, the Grand Valley area, Eastmanville, and the Marne area. Precautionary preparedness actions, again, with the tornado possible tag, it is very possible we could have a brief spin up tornado with this, and we have been watching some signs of rotation over the last several minutes. Tornadoes can develop quickly from severe thunderstorms. If you spot a tornado, go at once into the basement or small central room in a sturdy structure. For your protection, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a building. So we'll take off radar real quick, just so we can do the who's in and who's out of this warning. If you're in the Allendale area, you are in. So is the Eastmanville area, Lamont, the Grand Valley and Grand Valley State University area near Allendale, down towards the Fennessy area, Standale, Tallmadge or area, I believe that is, Walker, the Wilder Center area, the Marne area, Harrington, Reno area as well, Wright, Fruit Ridge Center, and then towards especially the west side of the Grand Rapids Metro, you are in this severe thunderstorm warning. Let's get radar back up here, and we'll take a look at velocity. We are in the process of getting a new scan in here. And it has brought it out a little bit in this latest scan, but looking back a few scans, we'll go back a couple of scans, you can see we've had this rotation over the last little while that started near the North Blendon area, south of Allendale, and it did get a little bit, luckily not terribly strong rotation, but it did get a little bit on the tighter side there near the Allendale area a few minutes ago, near the Pearline area. And as it continues to move to the northeast, fortunately it has brought it out a little bit, but still some signs of rotation near the Grand Valley area, moving off to the northeast. So the Tallmadge area and the Marne area moving next in line for this potential rotating thunderstorm, including the Walker area as well. So again, now is the time to get indoors in that sturdy structure, preferably away from windows. And we will have to continue to watch this storm, because if it does tighten up again, we could have a brief tornado drop out of this storm as well, hence the tornado possible tag. I have not seen any reports of such tornadic activity or anything of that nature yet, but we are going to continue to watch it. Let's go back to reflectivity here. And you can kind of see, it was more apparent on previous scans, we did have a little bit of a hook feature near the Allendale area. I'll highlight that. You can see we had a little bit of a hook feature there near the Pearline area. I will highlight it. That is the, whoops, let me go back a scan. There we go. You can see the inflow wrapping into this storm, and then the rain wrapping around on the other side. That is where our circulation approximately was. And if I go back to, if it'll let me, let's go to velocity. Alright, we'll have to go back to the same scan. That is where we were watching the potential circulation. in that general area. Luckily, it has broadened out over the last several scans. Let me go ahead and clear that out. And go back to reflectivity. But again, we are still watching. That signature is still evident somewhat near the Grand Valley area. So that is something we're going to continue to watch over the next several minutes, is for the potential not only for damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, but potentially the threat of a small, brief tornado. We do not have the environment in place for strong tornadoes or anything like that. It's just that sometimes with these storms that have picked up today, now there's just enough shear in place and enough turning of the wind to where if something interacts just right, we could get, with the environment just right, there can get a little bit of spin going, could drop a weak tornado. It'll be brief in nature, and we don't expect anything more than that, along with the continued potential of damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour as well. So if you're near the Marnie area, you are seeing heavier rainfall. The Harrington area as well, some heavier rainfall. Walker, you're getting into the heavier rainfall now, so is the Wilder Center area. Grand Valley, the heaviest rain is just staying to your north. Allendale area, the worst of this particular storm has passed, but you're still seeing some heavier rainfall. Which, if nothing else, we do have some much needed rainfall falling across portions of the area today as well. But again, we're still dealing with the potential of isolated severe weather, which we are starting to see transpire here near the Allendale area, near the Grand Valley area, eventually towards the west side of Grand Rapids, potentially. So, we are continuing to watch the storm. If you are just tuning in here, the National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has put out a severe thunderstorm warning, which is in effect for west central portions of Kent County and east central portions of Ottawa County until 5:15 this afternoon, so for the next 15 minutes or so. And we have been watching this storm that has flared up over the last little while, which is not only capable now of 60 mile per hour wind gusts, we have also been monitoring some signs of rotation with this storm, which does still maintain the potential to drop a brief spin-up tornado. And if we're going to see, and then, so as the storm first started rotating near the Allendale area, it's been kind of maintaining itself. It has broadened out, at least on the last few scans. We'll take a look at it currently, and we still continue to see broad rotation near the Grand Valley and Talmadge areas. East of Lamont, we are continuing to see some broad rotation. Nothing extremely tight, nothing urgently screaming tornado to me, but it is something we are going to have to continue to watch over the next several minutes, as it could tighten back up and potentially drop a brief tornado. Hence the tornado possible tag on this severe thunderstorm warning. Taking a look at some sources behind the scenes, I still don't see any reports here. Macomb WMIWX on the Twitter chat saying hello, guys. Hello. Thanks for tuning in here with us this afternoon. And we are going to go to another storm we have been watching. I am seeing some reports on social media of a wall cloud, with this cell near the Grand Ledge areas heading towards Waverly and eventually the Lansing area. This is in northeastern Eaton County. We have also been monitoring some signs of rotation from time to time with this storm as well. There is no active warning on this or anything at this time, but we'll go back over the velocity on this one as well. And I do see some signs of weak rotation there east of the Grand Ledge area that will be tracking towards the Waverly area over the next several minutes. Some broad, weak rotation south of the Willow Highway area near M43. Near the M43 and Nixon Road area, we are seeing some signs of weak rotation. And I have seen some reports on social media of a wall cloud with this storm. Unable to tell from what I'm seeing here if it's rotating or not, but that is something we are continuing to watch as well. Not only with our rotating storm near the Allendale area, but another weakly rotating storm that will eventually be tracking towards the Lansing area over the next several minutes. Going back to reflectivity, and you can kind of see where it's rotating there in that same general area. Taking a wider look at the radar across all of West Michigan, we do have scattered showers and thunderstorms that have been ongoing throughout the afternoon hours. And until recently, they have been struggling to get to severe limits until now. And the main thing that's been preventing a more widespread severe threat today is we've just had more widespread cloud cover. And that has prevented the instability from getting too high and therefore preventing a more widespread severe threat. But with the combo of modest instability, from what I've seen values between 1,000 to 1,500 surface cape, mixed layer cape values of around 500 to 1,000 joules at times. That is just enough instability with the modest shear also in place to where we can get these storms to pulse up and goes severe now on an isolated basis. We did have what was a slight risk earlier has been dropped in the most recent Storm Prediction Center update to a marginal risk of severe weather. A marginal risk means isolated severe storms are possible, and that main threats for that continue to be isolated damaging wind gusts up to around 60 miles per hour, along with still the small potential of a brief spin-up tornado or two, like we're seeing with this tornado possible tag severe thunderstorm warning that was near the Allendale area. So again, we're not expecting widespread severe weather at this point today, but we're going to have to watch these cells that can pulse up on an isolated basis and drop and produce either damaging wind gusts on that same isolated basis or maybe the small potential of a brief spin-up tornado. Again, we do not expect widespread issues. Many of you, if you do see storm activity, it'll be non-severe. Maybe some gustier winds or potentially some much-needed rainfall across portions of the area. Fortunately, across especially West Michigan near the Muskegon area, I'm seeing some good rainfall today. Fortunately. And we're going to have to hope that continues up into the US 10 corridor, especially towards the Tri-Cities area where I know there's been some drought conditions as well. Hopefully this trend continues, but we'll go back to our severe thunderstorm warning, and I will say it's not looking as pronounced as it was just a few minutes ago. We do continue with the severe thunderstorm warning with tornado possible tag for the next 9 minutes. And let me see if I have anything new from the National Weather Service. I do not, at least not yet. I'll refresh just in case. Nothing new. And we'll go back to velocity on this, check on the rotation. And we do continue with the broad rotation near the Talmadge area, over towards the Marnie area, and eventually towards Walker as well. We do continue with the broad rotation. And nothing of... and so far, nothing that's too tight, at least not as tight as it was earlier before the severe thunderstorm warning was issued. But we are continuing to watch this broad rotation again near the Talmadge area, near the Marnie area. I'll zoom in and get some streets. If you're near the Johnson Street and 24th Avenue area, that is where we're watching some rotation. Now we'll eventually be heading towards the 16th Avenue area and Hayes Street. If you're near the Western Greens Country Club and Sand Creek Golf Club, be aware we are watching some rotation. Currently not extremely strong, nothing that immediately screams tornado to me. Although we will go ahead and check the debris tracker product just to make sure I don't see anything. I do not see anything of real significance. We'll go back a few scans just to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oops. Bear with me while I try and get that going. I have not seen anything of real significance. All of this in here is just noise near the Allendale and Grand Valley area. That is just radar noise. That is not debris or anything of that nature. I'll have to check on that, though, near the Pearline area. kind of ambiguous. I am not going to say that's tornadic or anything like that, but something we will be watching. But we have currently seen no signs of tornado debris or a tornado on the ground at this time. But we are continuing to watch it and will continue to do so over the next few minutes. Let's go back to reflectivity. And again, we are continuing to watch this severe thunderstorm, mainly producing potential 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and we are also continuing to monitor the rotation in case a brief tornado does drop, in which a tornado warning would be issued. But we have not seen any reports of anything like that taking place, but we are continuing to watch behind the scenes if something does happen to drop. So again, if you're in the Allendale area, the worst part of the rotating part of the storm is well off to your northeast. And we'll check on that near Grand Valley. Again, the rotation's well off to your northeast, over towards the Talmadge and Marnie areas, heading towards the Walker area down the line. Again, not terribly tight, but definitely some rotation there that we will have to watch. And just if you're still in the severe thunderstorm warning, especially near the Talmadge, Marnie, and Walker areas, along with the Harrington and Reno areas and Wilder Center, do continue to remain inside, preferably in that sturdy structure, away from windows on the lowest floor. And be ready to go to a tornado shelter protocol if we do start getting reports of a tornado on the ground or if a tornado warning is issued. Let's go back to reflectivity. I will say that overall storm structure is not quite as impressive as it was a few minutes ago, but it's something we are still going to have to watch, as it still could tighten up briefly and produce a brief tornado, or at least enhance damaging wind potential. So again, we do continue with this severe thunderstorm warning for the next 5 minutes. I am not seeing any new reports from this. And let me double check some things. Just going through social media. Let's go back to that Lansing area cell. I am seeing reports of a rotating wall cloud. That was near Mount Hope and Canal area, rotating wall cloud being reported on social media. Let's check on that rotation, and still broad rotation. Nothing extremely tight to indicate an imminent tornado threat, but we are continuing to watch this broad rotation as it's near the Delta Mills and Waverly area, and will eventually continue to track into the Lansing area. So that is something we're going to have to continue to watch over the next several minutes as well. No active warning on this storm of either severe thunderstorm or tornado, or not even a special weather statement really. But this is also a storm we're going to have to watch. In fact, a newest scan, rotation is picked up just a touch near the Waverly area. So we'll zoom in a little bit tighter. So if you're near the Willow Highway area, the Saginaw and Canal Highway area, Canal Road and Saginaw Highway area, over towards Kreitz Road, that is where our rotation approximately is in that area. That'll continue to track through the Waverly area towards the Bretton Woods and Edgemont Park areas, and will continue into Lansing. So that is something we're going to have to continue to watch over the next several minutes. Again, no warning on it, but just with that rotational signature, that is another storm we're going to have to watch. In fact, we are starting to see a 60 dBz pixel in there, excuse me. So that storm could also start dropping maybe some small hail. I do not think we have the environment in place for large hail, although it's not impossible. But I think small hail would be the worst that I think we would see today, just on the meso-analysis we've been doing. Let's go back to our severe thunderstorms. Actually, let's take a general look again at the radar across West Michigan. We continue to see scattered shower and thunderstorm activity, which has picked up a little bit over the last 15-20 minutes or so. And we are watching a couple of rotating storms, one near the Walker area and one heading towards the Lansing area over the next few minutes. We're going to have to see what the National Weather Service decides to do with that severe thunderstorm warning, as it does expire in the next 2 minutes. I have not seen signs of anything new. But if you're near, especially near the Allendale area, where it was rotating a little bit more earlier, if you do have any damage reports to pass along to us, we would greatly appreciate that. If you feel free to send those to us, you can let us know in chat if you've seen anything, and that goes for you still in the warning as well. If you do have any reports to send to us, you could share those on our social media chat. We are monitoring chat. You could also tag us on social media, and we also have a website to where you can submit those storm reports. That is www.westmichiganweather.net/report. Again, that is www.westmichiganweather.net/report. That is where you can submit storm reports to us. So, again, we are continuing to watch this storm. I have not seen what they're going to do with this severe thunderstorm warning. We'll have to wait as it expires within the next minute. We will have to see what they decide to do. We'll take one more look at below. Alright, looks like they are going to go special weather statement instead of severe thunderstorm warning. They are opting to go with a special weather statement instead of a severe thunderstorm warning for West Central Kent and East Central Ottawa County. That is with this storm that we've been continuing to watch. And that is for the potential of wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. So, a special weather statement for a strong thunderstorm for East Central Ottawa and the West Central Kent counties for the potential of 50 mile per hour wind gusts. We'll check on the rotation just to be sure, as they allowed this severe thunderstorm warning to expire. And it's definitely still very, very broad. I still see some signs of weak rotation near the Marnie area, but it's not quite as organized as it was earlier. So, again, I think that is the right call to go with the special weather statement. But if you're near the Walker area, Wilder Center, over towards the Northview, Plainfield Charter Township area, over towards Englishville, and Alpine Township as well, over towards near the Grand Rapids Charter Township area and Standale. We are still monitoring the storm, but it is not severe. They are allowing our severe thunderstorm warning that was previously in place. That will drop. In fact, it just did drop off the screen. That has expired. The National Weather Service in Grand Rapids has opted to go with a special weather statement for 50 mile per hour wind gusts. I will go ahead and pull the text up for that. At 5:14 p.m., this is from the National Weather Service, Doppler radar was tracking a strong thunderstorm near Walker, or 8 miles northwest of Grand Rapids, moving northeast at 15 miles per hour. Which, that's the other thing we will talk about as well before I do decide to sign off, after we check over the entire situation once again. But these storms are not in a hurry, which means we could see some heavier rainfall rates, which, while it's much needed across parts of the area, could also cause some minor flooding issues. We'll discuss that in a little bit more detail before we go here. But again, the hazard with this storm now is wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Let me go back to reflectivity. And the source on that continues to be radar indicated. I am not seeing any reports of damage or anything like that yet from this storm, but we will keep watching behind the scenes. Again, the source on that right now is radar indicated. Gusty winds could knock down tree limbs and blow around unsecured objects. Locations impacting include Grand Rapids area, especially North Grand Rapids, over towards Walker, Sparta, Comstock Park, Northview, and Marnie. So if you are in any of these areas, definitely time to still remain inside in that sturdy structure. And continue to watch the storm like we will be, just in case it does try to tighten back up again or something like that. But I do not see any particular signs of that happening at this time. So, we'll take one more look before we go here at our storm in the Lansing area. Again, we have had reports of a rotating wall cloud with this storm near the Waverly area. We'll take one more look at velocity. And still broad rotation just east of the Waverly area over the Bretton Woods area. Eventually heading towards the River Forest neighborhood and Edgemont Park. And now we'll eventually continue across the north side of Lansing into portions of DeWitt Township, the Valley Farms area, and Clinton Village as well we will be watching. Again, this storm's not severe. We've not had any warnings or anything issued on it. But just with the reports of a rotating wall cloud earlier on social media, this is also a storm we're going to continue to watch as well behind the scenes. Let's go. Okay, Storm Prediction Center. Okay, this is Fire Weather Outlook. Okay. We'll zoom out once again and take a general look across the area. And scattered showers and thunderstorms continue across the area. Most of these are generally sub-severe now, but we are continuing to watch some areas of weak rotation, which could still result in, if not enhanced areas of damaging wind on an isolated basis. We still have the small potential of a brief tornado that we will have to watch as well. Otherwise, with the slower movement of these thunderstorms, we will have to watch for areas of heavy rainfall, which, while it's much needed across parts of the area, in fact, I can show you the drought outlook. As you can see, luckily, right in the area that's had the moderate drought, the Grand Haven, from like Grand Haven over towards Grand Rapids, in the Hudsonville area and whatnot, Allendale. Luckily, we have been seeing some good rainfall across portions of this area. Hopefully, we can also get it over to the 127 corridor, where we've had some moderate to even localized areas of severe drought towards the Tri-Cities. So hopefully, we can get some healthier rainfall totals, and then I will go over to the excessive rainfall outlook to show you. Let me find it here. There it is. We do continue with a marginal risk of excessive rainfall that is in the lighter green here. That is for at least a 5% chance of heavier rainfall exceeding flash flood guidance. That generally means we'll have to watch for localized areas of flooding where the heavier rainfall does set up. Not everyone will see heavy rainfall today. I know we've had some people commenting on our earlier social media posts that like the Ludington area hasn't seen much of anything. Unfortunately, that's been the nature of the beast the last few weeks, is where we get these scattered storms. Some areas are not quite as lucky. So that is something we're going to have to continue to watch behind the scenes. We will continue to watch behind the scenes, not only for the localized flooding, but if we do have one or two more storms happen to flare up on an isolated basis. Again, we do continue with the marginal risk of severe weather across all of West Michigan, and really most of the lower peninsula of Michigan, as a matter of fact. And this is primarily for the potential of isolated damaging wind gusts up to around 60 miles per hour. We do also maintain the 2% tornado risk, whereas one or two of these storms, it could drop a brief spin-up tornado. We do not expect that to be a widespread thing. But just with the rotation we've been monitoring earlier, that is something we're going to have to continue to watch. Hail risk, in fact, they did drop the hail risk that was in place near the US 10 corridor earlier. That was dropped in the most recent update, and one of the most recent Outlook updates. So we're not really expecting large hail to be an issue, but small hail cannot be ruled out of any stronger storms. Take one more look at the radar. Again, we continue to watch scattered showers and thunderstorms, and we'll take one more look at the rotation before we go. And it's still weak, but tiny bit tighter near the Walker area. Still not extremely strong. I'm not extremely impressed. Doesn't immediately scream tornado to me. We'll check just in case, though. Oh, debris tracker. Nothing on the debris tracker. That is just something we're going to have to watch over the next little while, just in case a new severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning is issued. In fact, we'll stick around just for a couple more minutes because it did tighten back up ever so slightly. So if you're near the Kinney area, north of Walker, over towards the Wilder Center area, what is near the Fruit Ridge Avenue Northwest, that is where this location approximately is. Along with Kennewaw Avenue Northwest, that is generally where this rotation generally is in that region. So if you're near the Graceville Country Club, that is where we're watching this week rotation as well. And I'll eventually be heading towards the Alpine and Alpine Township areas, and eventually towards the Belmont and Plainfield Charter Township areas as well. Also in the Ballard's Corners area, we are watching as well. Just with this weaker rotation, okay, it's still pretty broad there on this latest scan, but again, the Graceville Country Club area heading towards 6 Mile Road Northwest, near the Fruit Ridge. What is that? Fruit Ridge Avenue Northwest. That is where we're continuing to watch this week rotation. Again, not strong enough to warrant a tornado warning or even a severe thunderstorm warning at this point, but something we are continuing to watch over the next couple of minutes. So, okay. Given we have no active severe thunderstorm warnings, I'm going to go ahead. I will say we do have a cell we are watching near the Green Bay area that I'm just seeing a special marine warning get issued for. So this is another cell we have to watch that could eventually, if it holds together, we will have to watch the Ludington, Hart, Shelby Township areas at the far northwest corner of our coverage area. We'll have to watch these cells, what they do over the next few hours, and see what happens as they cross the lake. That could be some additional storm activity we will have to watch as well. So again, take one more look at the wide picture. We continue watching showers and thunderstorms, and it's still possible, at least for the next few hours, that we do have to watch for the isolated potential of a damaging wind gust or two, along with the very low potential of a brief tornado. So again, if you have any storm reports to share with us, particularly in the Allendale area where we're watching this rotation, or really if you do get any storm reports of Hasselon, like damage or anything like that, or even rainfall reports as these storms leave your area, do feel free to pass those along to us. You can do that on social media, on our social media pages, or on our website at www.westmichiganweather.net/report. Once again, that is www.westmichiganweather.net/report. And we'll be sure to pass along those reports to the National Weather Service if you wish as well. That would be very helpful to our friends there as well. And I will also mention that this is completely optional. We would never require this for life-saving weather information. But if you do want to support our efforts here at West Michigan Weather and help with daily operations, you can help us in doing that by going to www.westmichiganweather.net/donate. Again, that is www.westmichiganweather.net/donate, and that is where we have options to, if you want to provide financial support to what we do here at West Michigan Weather. Again, that is completely optional. We would never require donations or payment for the life-saving weather information and most of what we do here at West Michigan Weather. But if you do want to help us out, that would be greatly appreciated. But once again, I will remind you again, completely optional. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and scale back live coverage. At this time, we are still watching things behind the scenes though, and we'll be back with you live if a storm decides to flare up again and have a severe thunderstorm or a tornado warning. So again, this is Jacob Melton live here of West Michigan Weather. Thank you for tuning in with us this late afternoon. Stay with West Michigan Weather. We will keep you advised.